Welcome back to the Eye of Jupiter Live. I'm your host, Tom Franklin. Today we have on Jim Powell from Fisher of Spams the Night Watch. One of these days I'll get that all out. And he is on with the indelible, the wonderful Harley Owens from Bigfoot Reports and Data. These both guys are good friends of mine. We've been podcasting together for quite a spell now. That's how they say it in the South. Is that how you say it, for a spell? Can I get it? Yes, we're getting some thumbs up in the green room. That's awesome. And so yesterday I was finally able to figure out my Spotify wasn't changing, wasn't like going from Spreaker over, so you guys can go over there and catch up on all the episodes that have been missing over there. And I'm also slowly uploading all the lives into MP3 format, so you can catch that on Spreaker as well, Spotify, as well as all the other MP3 players out there, except for maybe a few that I don't know about that pop up every single day. You can also become a member, get some stuff early. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. You guys have been very helpful, very supporting, and I love each and every one of you. So I think I got all bases covered. Oh yeah, it's something new today. So if you guys write a comment, it's going to show up on the screen. And if it's a comment that what we're talking about, or if you guys decide to go ahead and chip in and do some super chat work over there today, that would be greatly appreciated. Help support the show. I will head pop you up and highlight you. And if you have questions and things like that, of course, as always, participation is not only welcomed, it is wanted. So with all that out of the way, please welcome to the Eye of Jupiter, Mr. Jim Powell and Mr. Harley Owens.
Hey,
hi.
Hi guys, how are you doing up there in America?
Living.
Living. All right. Okay.
When you say it like that, that really just puts a rankle in me.
What do you mean? Up there? Yeah. Well,
yeah. I understand that from your perspective.
Yeah,
it's a colloquial. It's a colloquial thing. It's not actually a position on the map. It's actually, well, to be quite accurate, it is that direction.
That's accurate. But
it's not up.
Northeast of town.
All right, we got hey Justin. Thank you so very much for your contribution to the show, as always, buddy. Thank you, Justin White. Awesome. Oh, this is interesting. This is so cool. All right, so you two fellers decided to get together and do a little bit of squatching, a little bit of investigation in one of Harley's areas. Yeah. And I've actually seen some of the footage, because I got behind the scenes access to it, so it's very cool. Some of it's insane. Our buddy, a good friend of ours, Pam, went through it with a scope, and we hope you guys do it as well when it hopefully it comes out, in due time, and see how many Bigfoot you can actually count. So, how did this all start? Who contacted who, and how did that go?
It was Jim contacted me first because he don't do roller coasters and stuff like that. His family was at Dollywood, and he's like, "You want to go squatching?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it."
What? Jim doesn't go on roller coasters?
No, I'm terrified of heights, bro. You know this.
All right, but it's not like you're not sitting in a chair, dude. I didn't think it was a big deal. All right, so you contacted Harley because you were scared at Dollywood over there. It wasn't because of her, her large personality or anything like that. You said,
"Nicely done."
I'm really good at this, guys. I am good at this. You contacted our buddy Harley and said, "Hey, let's go squatching." So, was that a spur of the moment, or you've been thinking about it?
I was thinking about it. The wife was like, "Hey, you're gonna go on a long weekend trip with some work friends. We're gonna go Dollywood." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Do I want to sit here and be a pack mule all day with my only reward being a giant smoked turkey leg, or do I want to go squatching?" So I called Harley. I'm like, "Hey, let's go squatching." And he's like, "Yay!" And I'm like, "Yay!" So we did.
So you guys were the Muppets? What's going on?
Yeah, kinda.
We're a dynamic duo for sure when we're in the woods.
Yeah, I've seen. There's for everyone out there who's seen it. It's not giving anything away. There's an initial shot where the camera is pointing out into the middle of nothingness, and I think Jim came in on the left and Harley came in on the right, and it looked like Sasquatch and his little friend
David
came together and shook each other's hand, and I was like, "All right, this is interesting. Gives you perspective. I love it."
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, absolutely.
Upon review of that, I realized, man, I need to go on a diet.
Yeah, I'm working on it, buddy. I'm working on it myself. I'm drinking too much sweet tea. You contacted him, and Harley is in Eastern Tennessee, and you were more towards what, Center Eastern, and you just took a little road trip out there for a couple of
He's
days.
from Alabama.
Yeah, I know.
I'm in Alabama.
But you said he was in Dollywood, or is that just a joke?
Yeah. Dollywood was like what, about an hour.
Yeah, generally. I mean, we were staying in Gatlinburg, and that's like right there at Sevierville, I think.
Yeah, it's above Pigeon Forge. It's Sevierville, then Pigeon Forge, and Gatlinburg.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not about that life, so yeah, we go squatching. But yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, though, man, like, you know, it really was beautiful out there, and I know from talking to Harley that it's a really interesting place that he's got out there, and with an interesting history. I mean, Harley, would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. The history kind of started. Well, and not less with Scott Carpenter researching in there, which is kind of how I kind of pinpointed it down. But I'm not sure how long ago it was when it happened, but there was a park ranger that was going to work at the cemetery doing weed eating and mowing. And he said that this woman came up out of the holler down from below the cemetery, and she didn't have no clothes on or anything. She had huge claw marks all over. And
Whoa.
he took her to the hospital, and the hospital called him after he had dropped her off, saying that she wouldn't talk to anybody other than him. So by the time that he had left and by the time he had got back, black SUV pulls up, men in black get out, and that woman has never been seen since. And it's been all just thrown under wraps.
Whoa. That happens a lot, man. I was not talking to. I was talking to the guy from Bronxville Paranormal Society. What is this name? That guy, awesome guy. His experience, and he was talking about where they kind of pulled him over and like, we don't want you over in this area anymore. I mean, you even had like run-ins with him, didn't you, Harley?
Yeah, at one point in time, it wasn't the Men in Black directly, but it was Talon, or a company associated with NASA, and I couldn't get into my research area for 3 days.
Yeah, so like a subsidiary. That's what it was. It was a subsidiary of the Men in Black. Their helicopters are like a little rusted. Their trucks have, they have slightly bald tires, but they're there to harass people who want to find out more about this mystery. All right, man. So walk me into it. So, what did you guys do? What was the plan? Who was filming? Who was narrating? What's the plan with this? What are you guys going to do with what you captured out there?
Well, okay. Carry on. I got this, bro. So, essentially, I'm filming everything and letting Harley be the talent, essentially. I mean, I'm going into it like to be as professional as possible, but I mean, in reality, like I'm only so professional. We cracked plenty of jokes and stuff like that, and had a great time ultimately, but you're not going to see very much of me in the film. I mean, I'm there, but I'm
well, we get to hear your nice sultry radio voice, quite often, and then you're very smooth, and then Harley comes out of the holler with his voice.
yeah.
Come here, Bigfoot.
Hi, Bigfoot. Where are you? None of that, but
Well, strangely enough, though, it kind of worked. So there is that.
That was quite fascinating. Like when you okay, it's always different. Harley always says, I was looking over here, or I heard over there. I turned my gaze and I see a laurel bush, and I remember laurel. I'm a hunter. I was a hunter in the States when I was a kid, but the amount of laurel that's out there, it's quite. I mean, you were there. The video I was seeing was like early spring, like it was just starting to green up. But at the same time, the woods are still very clear, except for these laurels that are in the way. And that seems to be like their modus apparatus of being like camouflage or whatever it is that they're doing, right, Harley?
Yeah, absolutely correct, Tom. That's I always tell people. That's what I was telling Jim. I'm like, that's where they hide, because it's so thick, and then much less in the summertime when it's right here, like behind me, it just amplifies it even more. And it's excellent cover for them to hide in, much less for them to stalk prey or follow people out on the trails.
People are starting, Harley, people are really enjoying There's always going to be detractors. I'm starting to get my haters too. You blew up faster than I did, which is all good. You know, all rising waters, you know, raise all ships, and that's awesome. And but for the most part, like people, like, you know, your colleagues, or, you know, the people that you do this with, or the people who enjoy your work, they know that you're, you know, a big fan of Scott Carpenter. He was like, you know, like once you had your encounter, you kind of like started branching out, looking everywhere, and you kind of focused in on what he does. You know, the strong Christian point of view, the Nephilim point of view, the camera behind you, going deep in the woods, getting off trail, you know, those kind of things. And it's really interesting. Like you're like a, you know, it's the wrong word, but you're like a person that people turn to for accurate information. And, you know, that's pretty cool, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that means a lot, Tom. It really does, you know, and I ain't no expert in this stuff, and I don't claim to be. I could be completely wrong in all of this, but I tend to think that I'm leaning in the right direction, you know, and I always have people reaching out all the time. And Jenny, I seen her in the comments there a minute ago. She was asking me what to do about stuff on her property, and I kind of helped her. Oh, that's Mike, but I helped tell them kind of what to do on their property. So it's just it's a big ordeal for me just to help people out in this, and I feel like it's my calling.
So that's what you're kind of branching out into doing, is like where people are having these encounters. Like I know, like when you started out, I mean, you actually called me here in Mexico, and like, Tom, you know, this is happening, and I don't, you know, I was like, well, you got to go to work, bro. I know, but I don't want to. But you ended up going, which I'm glad you took my advice. Or you probably switched jobs, so actually didn't take my advice. But at the same time, like it's become a thing where, like, you know, it's just it's kind of, you know, you were on Tony Merkel's podcast, the Confessionals, which, you know, when, like we said, when it comes with that, when the bigger you get, there's gonna be detractors, and, you know, and that means, to me personally, that means you're doing the right thing. That's what I did.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling that way, because it kind of got to you at first. You were like, dude, this is my calling from God. I love this stuff. This is what I need to do on the planet. Why the fuck, you know, and all this anger. And I was like, you're fine. Keep moving on. And then now you seem to be in a really good place, dude. And it's awesome.
Oh yeah. And now all the time, like people reaching out, like just talking trash and stuff, I call them out. I'll just post it and just let people know who to watch out for and who not to.
Yeah, we do that. We share that in the backlog too. So one more question for Harley. So when you take Jim out there to these spots, I don't know if I don't think Jim's had Bigfoot encounters before. Is that am I off, Jim, or have you had before?
I've had Bigfoot encounters before. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to speak for he's in the room. He's in the room with us. I gotta make sure. But so when he comes out, did you take him, you know, once again, you know, did you take him to the good areas or the good area, or did you take him to, your granddad, you know, when you go fishing, you get the honey hole, you know what I mean? Did you take him there, or what'd you do with him?
I kind of took him to a honey hole.
Oh, all right. Kind of. All right, good. He's got a reserve.
We were surrounded. So I mean, I won't say how many, but we were surrounded.
All right. Jim. So Jim, when you were out there, so I mean, what was it like? You said it was a beautiful place. How did you decide to do what you're going to do? You're planning on turning this. I'll kind of, if I'm wrong, please correct me again. You're planning on turning this to like a small documentary, correct?
Yeah, that's the general plan. Gonna make like a mini doc. I mean, because granted, I don't have the funds to have the equipment necessary to make like something super spectacular, but it's still really good, you know. I mean, I'm out there with, you know, if you don't count my cell phone, about $100 worth of equipment. And I think we're making like a really nice thing. And to answer a question earlier from Mike, I have all raw footage, like the clips, on my channel already, so you guys can actually go and watch the clips. You know, like the edited part isn't up yet. Only
there it is.
Harley and Pam have seen that so far. But it's coming together. It's coming together, you know. And you know, I encourage everybody to go and watch the clips. If you guys see something, please write like in the comments like a timestamp, and if you do, I'll put you in the credits.
Yeah. If you think you've seen something, scroll back a little bit and watch it again, because that's how quick they are. You'll see something,
Yes.
and then you just go back and watch it.
Yeah, you'll be.
Right.
What I've noticed, there was this one where you guys were curving to the right, out back towards the road, and there was a moment where Jim kind of sweeps, and there's nothing, and then he kind of sweeps back, and then there's something. Then he kind of sweeps again, and then there's nothing again. It's so weird. Why, Maddie? Shout out to Mike and Jenny Atkins.
Mike can actually show.
Here we go, Mike. Let's see. You got Jim Powell, Mike, and Jenny Atkins. It's up at the top. But they create these cool cups. I'll grab their link real quick, and you guys can go over and support the victims of the Hurricane Helena disaster. That's still, is still messed up. Harley, you were a part of that. Like, I mean, you're not West North Carolina, but Eastern Tennessee, man. Tell the people what that does. Like supporting people at home can also, these people who are making these awesome cups and shakers and whatever they're making, what's the benefit for the people out there?
It'll help out people tremendously. We've had overwhelming support with people helping us from, we evacuated, we left that morning because the neighbor came home knocking on the door. We got to evacuate. The dam's broke. There's 100-foot wall of water coming. So and we were stressed out. And so I just loaded up the kids and my wife and got the car loaded with some necessity stuff. And we just hit the road, and we were without water for 2 weeks, and we were without power for a week. So it was a big ordeal. Now I will say the East Tennessee, we had it pretty rough, but everybody came together from support, all across the country. Everybody, north, south, east, west. We literally just now ran out of water from September, from all the water that we had been given. So it really does make
okay, that's incredible. Like so how was it? You guys were just recently at a conference with Magical together, with Magical Journey. Well, what was that like? It was a Rocky Mountain. No, what the hell is it called?
Smoky Mountain.
Smoky Mountain. No, yeah, whatever. It's Rocky. It's Smoky. Whatever.
Rocky's a good time.
One's on the west side and one's on the east side. So I guess it matters when it comes to geography. But so tell me a little bit about that. What was that like?
Oh, it was awesome.
Windy.
Yeah, it was very windy. Yeah, I lost my booth a couple times.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate that so much.
Yeah, it was a great time. And sorry, I'm actually looking up some pictures right now to so I can do a share screen here in a minute.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, so it was windy. It was So how long did you guys? How long were you out there together? Did you go twice, or was it just all in one day?
It was all in one day. It started at was it 9 or 10? Did it start at 10? It started at 10.
Yeah, I believe so.
It started at 10. I got there about 9:30. I think I was running late, but I got all my stuff set up, and then they showed up. But I was sitting there because I was sitting up next to all the other speakers and stuff because I had little times that I was giving the talk at. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm like, well, there's really not that many people here. I turned around and Turtle Man told me, he said, Harley, turn around and look. I said, what? So I turned around and looked, and there's a big old wave of people coming. I was like, oh my gosh, they got a lot more than what I bargained for. But I had a awesome time.
Live action.
I talked. Yeah, I heard enough yee from Turtle Man to do me a lifetime.
Yes.
And you were also a speaker at this event as well. So what does it feel like to stand up in front of a group of people and talk about this stuff?
Oh, I love it.
Really?
I've got my practice in. I've spoke at 3 conferences now this year, and I've got a couple more to speak at yet this year. So I'm excited about that. I love it. I'm going to be speaking at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference on the roundtable this year. Then I'll be at Tennessee Wildman with Daryl Denton, Martin Groves, and all those other people. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm traveling to West Virginia, Kentucky, Alabama, and I'm traveling to Missouri too. I'm going to be at Crossing Realms Conference.
Wow, dude, you're making the rounds. Oh, while we're at it, dude, big shout out to Martin Groves, Brayers, thoughts, love, good thoughts, all those kind of things. We're gonna, regardless of your religious affiliation, as long as you send good thoughts in that direction, because he's I don't know what he has. It's not important. All that matters is that he's not doing as well as he should be, and we wish the best for him.
He needs,
and of course,
he needs the prayers. He needs them. He's got a lot on his plate.
And the same for well, not as bad, but also MK Davis has been going through some stuff. So shout out to Big MK, awesome guy. Here we go. Here's Harley's channel, guy. You can go over there and check him out, guys. He's been doing the rounds, man. He's been doing the rounds because he knows what he's doing. So tell me a little bit about your trip. What was surprising? What was not surprising? What happened, guys? Like, just don't give away too much, but
I was gonna say I was surprised at the amount of activity that we were having, but then again, I was like, well, this is my most active area. I mean, they always show out. I mean, just last month, I had 11 other people out there with me. We went camping out there in my research area, which I'd never done before. I've stayed out there till 1 or 2 o'clock, not camping overnight, but we camped overnight and stuff, and it was insane.
Okay, so what do you want me to show us? What you popped up there, buddy?
Jim? Yeah, go for it.
So Jim sharing a screen of, I can't really see it, so let's take a good look. What you got there? Whoa,
we got Chewy, is what I call him.
All right, you can zoom in on him so we can. So, oh, there he is. Oh my God, you can see his outline up at the top right there. Correct.
Yep. Right here.
No, what's in? Oh, I didn't even see that one. I'm talking about the upper right.
Upper right.
Upper right, right there, like the shape around the tree right there. You see
that? Looks like another one. Yeah.
It looks like his face is partially in the tree.
Yeah.
I mean, if I zoom in like this,
there it is. There it is.
That's his eye. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his nose.
I would say that looks quite elongated, though. Like the snout.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Weird.
I see an eye.
I see eye, nose,
I see an eye and a brow ridge. Like where the limb is coming up, I see an eye, and I see the brow ridge coming across. So what I'm saying is this.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know. But, I mean, it's possible, but I was over here hanging out with Chewy.
Let's take a look at Chewy.
Yeah, Chewy.
Oh my God, it looks like one of those things from Star Wars. Hey, James, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Wow. And this was captured by, of course it was captured by you guys, but you guys went back through the film and seen this, or did someone point this out to you?
This was like the only one that I found like blaringly obvious.
Yeah, I've still been going back and watching over the footage too. Like I'm making sure that I don't miss anything, but I still haven't caught anything.
Yeah. It's difficult. It really is. There's so much to draw the eye.
It takes hours.
Jim, you were talking about
frame by frame.
Jim, you were talking about that you had a feeling out there while you were out there that you've never I never heard you talk about before. Could you describe what it felt like? If something happened and you had this like overwhelming, like, whoa, okay, this is real feeling.
That would be at the second location, like where I had that particular feeling. The second location has more of a foreboding and dark like presence to it.
Okay.
And that was very disconcerting. But I mean, like, it was worse, like when we started encountering 3-toed footprints and then we hear a roar come out of the woods at us.
That roar was insane. I've never heard a roar like that. I mean, Jim said, "Is there a T-Rex walking around out here?"
Yeah,
sounds like Jim. Sounds like something he'd say. So I'd have to believe that one. So in Harley, I mean, okay, more or less, how many times have you heard a roar while doing this?
That's the second one. I heard a roar. My first roar was last July. It was me and my buddy Rick. We heard it, and it came from the same general area of where this roar came from. Now, mind you, me and Jim were in a different area, but than where me and Rick were at. But it still channels up to that same location. It's further up on the mountain. There's a big ridge there called Sutton Ridge, and I think that's where they hang out a lot. Most of them. But they still hang out down in the valley there where we were at.
Are you thinking about maybe going up there one day?
Oh yeah, I've got a plan for that.
Yeah.
That was scary the way you said that. You're like, you know what I mean? You just kind of like cocked your rifle and had some military like advisor behind you as you said that. Oh yeah, we have plans for that.
Yeah, yeah, we got plans. Yeah, July 5th through 7th.
Okay. So July 5th through 7th. Oh, okay. You know, wow. Okay. You didn't have to.
Yeah.
And you told the people, man, we're going to make sure we have to keep this a little incognito.
Oh, yeah.
Because not, you're going to have every Tom, Dick, and Harry up there in the world spooking these things.
People are already trying to figure out where I research at. I
All
had
right,
a guy from Texas just randomly show up one day. Well, he called me. He's like, "Hey, I'm out here at your research area." I was like, "Cool." So
that's unnerving, isn't it?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing about being down here in Mexico. It's like no one's going to come down here and bother me. I'm way down here. You got to get past the cartels to get to me.
Yeah.
I was watching a whole thing today about how China might have been inflating its actual population numbers, man. It might be the highest instead of 1.4 billion. It most likely due to like many factors like salt intake, the amount of crematoriums they did during the pandemic, and multiple other factors that possibly it's about 800 million. So they're off by 2 United States.
That's disconcerting.
Yeah,
well, they do that to project power, and they do that for people trying to invest in the country. We have this wonderful consumer base. Come invest in the country, so they lie about their numbers. Mm-hmm. And of course, the wild one-child policy. What happened there is that they were getting these black market like passports and stuff, so like they get all the benefits, and so they inflate their numbers because then the government gives certain regions more money with more population. So there's a lot of good old Chinese fuckery going about with that. That was very interesting today. And I don't mean the Chinese people by any sense of the term. I actually think they're quite lovely people.
The government.
Yeah. The government is a little messed up, a little bit more than messed up. So that was just, I don't know why that came out. It just was a little bit of information there. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
All right. Go for it, buddy.
I would say let's kind of start at the beginning. Yeah, Harley?
Sure.
We'll just kind of walk people through. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we get to my area, we park and we start going up the trail, and the X structure that I had found back on New Year's Eve of 2023, it had been destroyed. So I told Jim, I said, let's go over and look at this. He's like, okay. So we go on back in through there, and I'm just blown away at all the structures, and they had made new ones in that area, but they still broke their X. Why, I don't know. But we had one on the film there crawling right up to us, and we've seen that later. But so we had left that, and we get back on the trail, and we come back up the trail a little ways, and then we cut back off in the woods because there's a big arch, and I go around I make a little bit of a curve to go around, and I stopped, and I said, I started pointing at it, and Jim's like, what we got? I said, a footprint. And I will get that footprint. Hold on just 1 second.
Yeah. and the thing about it is like, I was really impressed by how dense it is there, and how like we didn't have to go very far from the car before things get interesting. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you're like, there's points of what I can see, like you're maybe 60 yards off the road,
maybe.
If that, at some spots.
I don't know if my green screen is going to let it do it or not. Hang on a second. Let me turn my green screen off. Let me turn it off. Hang on.
All right.
Okay, there we go.
He's actually in the hall, guys. He's not in the woods. He's a fake. He's a faker. There.
Oh, wow, it looks better in person. But you can see the toes real good right here. You see the toes sticking out.
Wow, yeah, and like the reason why like that appendage is kind of out is because these toes were like super embedded into it.
Yeah, they were.
Of course,
deep.
Just all 5.
Oh, kind of like pushed off, and it was so muddy that the toe kind of went in as he was stepping away.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Continue, dude. What's next? So you get a little farther. You got in the woods a little bit, and things started picking up.
Oh yeah. It was the whole time.
What I would say is, like for me, like coming into it, I'm not or I would say more like I wasn't necessarily sold on the idea of like tree structures and stuff like that being connected to Bigfoot. You know, I always assumed that there's a little bit of tomfoolery with that stuff, you know.
Okay.
But it got to the point like where we're seeing so much, and plus there's all the evidence that goes with it, like the footprints, just like that, that's right there with it, and seeing like crazy breaks like way up high, things that are literally been twisted and bent down where you can
I've
see
seen those
twist marks.
Yeah,
You
some of
know,
them were fresh. They were
Well, then
wild.
then the tree that I showed you that was broken and 20, 30 foot off the ground, it's perfectly balanced.
Yep. There's
it's uphill. It's uphill. We were walking
Right.
down on the bottom, and that tree is uphill from where it should be.
Right.
Gravity's gonna pull it down.
And
Right.
there's also like some of these arches, like what he was describing earlier, like, you know, these are trees that are, mind you, still alive, you know, that are pulled all the way down from the tip, and then their tips are like wedged under stuff and just creating this giant bow, and the tree is still alive. I mean, it's got branches coming straight up out of them now. And it's like, you know, with all this, like for me, it was like, you know what, I can't keep the mindset of tree structures are not a thing, because this is obvious that it's a thing, you know. And that was like what really blew me away at the beginning of everything, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing about the tree structure thing. You know, you're seeing things that look out of place that I'd imagine as a casual observer, being in the position I am, watching it on the screen wherever I am in the world, or other people, it doesn't look impressive. I'd imagine it's a completely different thing when you're there in person.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh,
a
yeah,
whole
it's
different. It puts it into a different perspective.
Right.
Because you have to rationalize if that's natural or not. Well, that's like
Right.
that big arch that we found on down in the holler after we found the big footprint. You know,
Right.
It comes up. You know, and I talk about it in the video. You know, because the tree should have been standing straight up.
Right.
It was bent over, and logs were laid across it.
Right.
And it's right over top of a spring. So
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, arches signify water.
Okay,
Right.
that's what you're starting to gain from this as often you've been out there. Like it's like it kind of, I don't know. That's weird. That you're finding them over streams or pointing towards them, or are they over them?
This one was straight over top of the stream. It was like a freshwater spring. It came right out. I mean, it didn't come down the holler. It literally, the spring came out right underneath the arch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's where it comes out of the ground.
Yeah, it was bubbling up.
Oh, so it wasn't like just on the extreme. So okay,
No.
there you go. Because I was just like, well, you know, it's in a valley. We'd figured it out. But okay, now that makes a lot more. Okay, I was like, what? All right, that's interesting. And how many times have you seen this type of phenomenon?
That's the first one that I've found with the arch being over a spring like that. But I find arches in there all the time. But I'm always like, because they're always pointing in the direction of water. But now that I've found that, I'm like, okay, so I can just probably follow this and find another one like this that's over top of the water.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that. Like if you can follow, say, you know, a certain creek up to where it comes bubbling out of the hill there, and then see if you know, especially in these areas, to see if that's like you know, something that happens more on the regular. Hello, Northwest Native Tracker. Welcome to the show. so people sometimes they're probably following you, Harley. I had nothing to do with it today.
I posted it in my group, and I told everybody to subscribe. So hopefully my people show up.
Well, you can subscribe to your channel. Jim, one real quick though, let's tell people about your channel. That way they can, since we're in this little niche of like subscribing to channels, tell people about your show and where they can find you, buddy.
All right, you can search me up on YouTube. It's The Night's Watch. So,
all right.
Fisher
Harley is Fisher spams the Night Watch.
Nope, Fisher spam has been dropped. It is just The Night's Watch.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
So I can. All right.
Okay.
All right. So he's dropping nukes while on the show. Thank you so much for that. You're going to give out that information. You're going to rebrand your show. The Night's Watch, I think, is much better.
I think it's a lot easier to find that way.
And it's a lot easier to remember. It's a lot, you know me, I've known you for a year and I'm still fucking stumbling over like an idiot, but that's just, you know, because I'm.
Which you did earlier.
I got to
and it was
change your
funny.
name in my phone now.
It's okay.
Always,
you can leave it
I
as
always want to
Fisher.
say, I always want to
I put it as spammy.
That works. That works. Trust me, my wife has called me way worse. You can't upset me. It's all good. Put me as whatever you want.
And I always want to say Bigfoot Reports and Data, but it's Data and Reports for some reason. So my brain does it. Now I have to like go, no, it's in reverse. And I don't know why. I don't know why.
I need to change it, honestly, because I don't really dig into the reports and data like I thought I was going to. But it's kind of stuck, and it's kind of made a name for me, so I can't just boot it away.
You're like the corn of Sasquatching research. Okay, where corn doesn't mean anything, but the abandoned now means corn. So okay, I'm with you. It's a good thing. If people know you there, that's to rebrand now is a little late.
Yeah,
I mean once you get like, how many members do you have on Facebook? It's quite a few.
6,000.
I'm still working on 1,000, dude. Good Lord. You're all right. Fair enough. All right. Okay, please, Jim, continue.
BRD.
Yeah.
BRD, yeah.
There you go. But so anyways, that's how that goes. And we get to a point where you know, like we're seeing all this, but we're kind of like at the dead end of, like, I would say the road, maybe, Harley, where the other stuff is there in front of us now, like where the rocks are. Yeah. I don't want to give it away. Okay.
Yeah.
If I say too much, they'll probably know. But anyways, from there, we basically go down to a trail that Harley cut with a machete last year.
Yeah, I cleared that out, man. I never had so much sweat dripping off me in my life. I mean, I was soaked. I had my show. It was bad.
I believe it. So we go down that way, I don't know, mile and a half, maybe.
I think it's about a mile and a half, 2 miles, yeah.
Yeah, and eventually, you know, once we get down there, it kind of opens up and it turns into a holler. You know, we've got a mountain here in front of us, and we just came off of a mountain. And we have this big open area, you know, and as I noted before that I need to go on a diet, you know, Fat Boy was a little bit tired once we got down there. So I'm like, hey, Harley, let's take a break, brother. It's like, okay. So
McDonald's is making it impossible.
How'd you know what we had for breakfast?
I was just looking for something funny, and it went through my brain about 4 times before I decided to release that Jim of a joke.
Good call. I'll let you have it. But yeah, so I'm tired, and he's like, all right, we'll sit. And you know, and we hang out basically on this at the base of the mountain that we just came off of, and we're overlooking the other one. And you know, the whole while, you know, I will also note that we're having very strange things happen with the EMF, right? I mean, baseline, we're sitting at normally around the 20s, and it would spike anywhere from
60 to 80.
Yeah, about 60 to 80. I remember high 80s being the most that it was. And when that would happen, you know, it's like a little bit of an interesting correlation, right? If you watch the footage, you'll hear the wireless lav mics kind of static and fuzz out and give it like, and give it about 5 seconds. And often enough, you'll actually see Harley grab his phone out and be like, I want to check what the EMF is. Like, we're picking up on it, you know, without even knowing it. But so when we're down there now, we essentially start hearing things start to surround us.
Well, we got to talk about what happened before all that, though. I had to pee. Remember?
Yes, Harley had to pee.
Please. What is that? What? So your kidneys, your liver was cleaning your kidneys, and you had to. Okay, please.
I had to go. I mean, I wasn't going to sit there and pee on myself.
I hope not. I mean, one day, but hopefully far in the future.
It's like 60 years from now.
Yeah, dude.
I feel no need to let you or to explain that, and I'll just let you hang with I had to pee.
Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
Or they had to pee.
Yeah. I had
so
to pee.
anyways.
Oh my God. All right. You guys are a barrel full of monkeys. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the urination,
keep going. Talk, Harley.
So we sit there and we start hearing rock clacking. We had rock clacking up in front of us to our left, then behind us to the left, then in front of us to our right, and then behind us to the right. And as we're sitting there, when we're listening to all that stuff, we can hear movement all around us. And at one point, I actually seen a brown one. It was coming down through the laurels. He had long brown hair and he had like tannish, almost tan looking skin, but it was coming, sneaking its way down through the laurels. And I was telling Jim, it's at my 10 o'clock. It's coming this way. And so we're just sitting there. We're whispering back and forth. And mind you, there's still noises happening all around us. And then Jim is starting to pick up on something from in front of him. And so we're just taking this all in, listening. And then something came across the creek. Well, it's a little stream. It ain't really a creek. It's
what time of day is this, Harley? What time of day is this?
It was
10 o'clock.
About 10 o'clock. Yeah. 10.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not. It's a common misconception. Oh, they're just nocturnal. Yeah, bull crap. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's that, and I'm also trying to set the setting. You know what I mean? Like to get the feeling. You know what I mean? What time of day? You know, it's not like dawn or dusk, but it's not quite noon yet. So it's a nice. You can see everything in the woods type morning. Okay, yeah, please.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to go and pee during the day.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. Love you, buddy.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It was fun. All right. Let's see. Continue, please.
And what's interesting though to note, like about that, like before we get to the tree cross or the brook crossing, is like while they're like surrounding us, we hear rock clacking. And while in and of itself is very interesting, I would also be remiss if I didn't point out that the rocks that you find out there are all quartz, like giant chunks of quartz, and it's like, wow, and obviously what happens if you squeeze quartz or bash it together, you get electricity. So
they're very conducive to electricity. I heard that a lot from Alfred Santariga. That's what I'm thinking of from Paranormal Society. And he's just like, wherever there's quartz out there, bro, you could be walking for miles. And as soon as you see it down in the ground and little pieces sticking out, stuff's going to happen. Especially if you're in these areas.
Here, man. It's everywhere here. Like Jim will tell you. I mean, yeah, you can even see it in the video. Like it's just everywhere. Even just laying on top of the ground, like something was carrying it and then just threw it down.
Did you throw your EMF meter towards a larger piece sticking out to see if there's any variation in what it was picking up?
I didn't think to, but I can do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow and I'll let you know.
Okay, Bigfoot Reports Data coming back at you. Our guy in the field.
We now return to our regular schedule. Harley, tell us what's going on out there.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, there's this rock out here, and it's got electricity shooting out. And boy, I tell you what. Back to you, Tom.
Well, you got to tell him. You got to tell him about what else happened.
Yeah.
Oh, with the EMF meter?
No, the temperature.
Oh. Yeah, my EMF reader.
Okay.
Okay. So, my EMF meter also has the function on it. Wait. Oh, okay. Where you're just laughing? Okay, cool. I didn't think it was that funny. Huh.
No, I like how you guys are like friends and palling it up. You know what I mean? I knew we all know each other, and you guys hang out with each other. So there's these little jabs going on, and I'm just waiting for an uppercut to come my way, but I'm enjoying the little jabs.
Now my brain's at work, and I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that.
Running on two levels. You got the story and what's going on, and the stuff in the background. Okay, let's go.
Oh yeah, well, to be fair, like even while he was trying to throw up later on in the story, I was trying to make him laugh so he'd make a big
he was trying to make me laugh if I was trying to throw up.
Yeah, that's what I do, yo.
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 But anyway, so my EMF meter, like I'm getting curious, because it's not really working as well as I want it to. I don't know if it's needs calibrated. I don't know. I don't technology well, but I pull it out. I'm like, well, you know what? What's the temperature like? So I put it on the temperature setting, and it's working normal. And while all this clacking is going on, the temperature there is probably
It
what,
was
69, 70 at most.
I don't even remember it being that hot. I think it was like 65 or 67.
Right, that makes sense. I mean, it wasn't like hot at all.
Well, we were in the
But
shade too, kind of.
yeah, we were in the shade for sure. And as all this clacking and stuff is going on, all of a sudden, like the mood and the vibe changes, but also the temperature starts to spike.
And it didn't just spike a little.
No, I watched my temperature gauge go all the way up to over 87 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's incredible.
In March.
Right. In March, in the middle, overcast day, in the middle of a gully. I mean, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I like if we have a guy, gentleman, I believe gentleman, could be a woman too. Northwest Native Tracker writes the sequences of knocks and taps are similar to Morse code. It's a known hunting language that they use. Interesting. If you'd like to come on and talk to me about that, please contact me with my email, buddy. I would love to talk to you about that. Now,
same.
That goes for a shout out for the people. That's a little bit of not a shout out, but like maybe a direction that people in the future can look into. You take these EMF meters with you, you notice something's going on, check the temperature for a second. Maybe that could be even part of the, that subsonic sound that they make that like rattles your bones.
Sound.
Right. Like you get kind of heated up at the same time. That's weird. That's so weird.
It is weird. Yeah.
And realistically, like the only thing that I can really attribute to it, because, like normally, when we see like ghost stuff, right? Like the temperature drops. That's what we're used to thinking about it with this situation. And I think it's because in that particular situation, energy is being pulled out of the air. Whereas in this situation, discounting all the water that's running all over and around us, we have all these pieces of just chunks of rocks being smashed together, generating electricity. Power is being created to do something potentially. And, law of thermodynamics, whenever you use energy, it's not ever 100% efficient, and you lose part of your efficiency through heat,
Right.
And it's the only thing that I can figure out that would cause that. I don't know what else to really make of it, but I know that it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's very bizarre, to say the least, because I still don't have any answers for that, because that still has me scratching my head.
So this is new for you, Harley? This what happened? What you guys picked up out there?
Yeah, the temperature rise, and that was something that I have not paid attention to before.
I don't think I've ever heard that before, but
I'm glad that we experienced it, and now we can kind of tell others what to look for. Much less.
That's the whole idea.
I want to throw this in there too. I want to encourage people to start doing this. We didn't do it this day, but start carrying like an old analog watch and keep it on you at all times, and then have an extra one just sitting in the car. Leave it in the car and have them set the exact same time. That way you can see if there's any loss of time.
No kid, that is incredible idea.
It's a good idea.
I don't think I've heard of that one either. Wow, you're over here dropping missiles and bombs and nukes. I mean, I told you that military stuff behind you earlier. Yes, I will be doing that on the 15th and 16th at 3:00 sharp. Yeah, I can see that you come with that energy today. This is fantastic. So please, one of you continue on with what else you were finding out there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Harley.
So we're still sitting there, and we get to the point. The whole reason we were out there was to find a cage, because a buddy of mine, Mike the hiker, I call him Mike the hiker, he always keeps me in the loop on things. He's always walking his dog. He always throws tennis balls out to his dogs, and the Bigfoot will take the balls from him, and he won't find them for a couple of weeks, and then the Bigfoot will put them back on his truck. And then the first time he ever had an experience with the Bigfoot, though, was his dog had a jacket on, and he took off further up the trail, and he came back without the jacket on. And so Mike goes to find his jacket, and his jacket's hanging up in a tree about 8.5 foot off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So that Mike, I'm gonna give a shout out to him, Mike Allen.
Shout out to Mike Allen.
He was the one that told me about the cage, and he's like, "Yeah, it's about 4.5, 5 foot tall, about 2 or 3 foot wide. And it's right down in there. You just go straight down into the end of that, and you'll find it." And so we're sitting there, and all of a sudden Jim goes, "I found the cage." I was like, "Where?" He said, "Right there." And I kind of sitting there, and I'm looking, and I was like, "Oh,
Like 30 feet from us.
yeah." I'm like, "Oh, there it is." So it's just we were so in tune with everything else going out that I mean, if he hadn't have seen it, like we probably wouldn't have even found it. But we were going in that direction anyway, so we probably would have. But so we get to the point of where we get up and we start going over to the cage, and we find this intricately made tree structure, like it's all wrapped around,
Everything woven around with itself. Yeah.
It's intertwined
Okay.
and twisted. And I'm gonna throw this in here right quick. Till from that day till March 25th and 26th, they have continued to add on to this structure, even as soon as while me and the team were out there doing our night investigation. So the day prior, they had put some on it, and then that night, right before we got back into that area, there was fresh breaks, and they were just stuffed in there. And I'm going to tell you about this too, Jim. So you remember those sticks that were laying there at the base of this thing? There's like 5 or 6 sticks laying there.
The ones that were brought from a different area?
Yes.
Yes.
My buddy David Pardue from Carolina Cryptid Research, he was telling me that signifies how many is in a family group. So 5 or 6.
Go ahead and zoom in on a little bit more, Jim, because I just want to make sure that the people who came a little later can actually see one of this incredible picture one of the incredible pictures that you guys pulled. If you look there in the lower central left-hand portion, there you guys running his cursor around it right there. Check that. Can you zoom in a little bit more, Jim? Thank you, buddy. Look at that. What is that? What is that? That's incredible.
I'm picking Chewy's nose right now.
All right, it's enough of that, Jim. These animals have been through enough with their deforestation.
Oh my gosh.
There we go, David. This is awesome. Yeah. David Roasty wrote, most have years, some decades on me in this field, but I'm pretty quick study. I'm slowly putting together a data set yielding some remarkable results of consistencies. Awesome. That's what we're here to do, guys. Cool. If you have information that may be pertinent because of the, you know what I mean, whatever you're going out there, maybe you should also have a like a little notebook with you. Write the time of day.
That's what I do. I carry a notebook with me, but I don't. I always write back after, like as soon as I get home, I always write down everything. Actually, my journal's just sitting right over there. Well, I've been sent from December 7th till now. I've already got that thing halfway full. I mean, like I always tell people, I don't go out there all the time and have an experience or encounter. Sometimes I'll go out there and I won't hear or see anything.
Right.
Majority of the time, though, there's always something.
Sounds like with your notebook there's going to be a future book on the horizon.
You got that right.
Come on, man. This is what I do.
That and mispronounce your name for your YouTube channel. Yeah.
When it has 17 words in the title,
Yeah.
Oh man. So this was. I'm gonna put this up. This is that tree structure that we were talking about. So you can see how right here it's all mangled up and twisted around. You can see it better in the video, but they're all mangled and twisted around. And this tree,
oh wow,
it's like 4 or 5 foot away from where it should have been. So that tree was pulled up out of the ground and just laid over that way.
Wow.
Hang on, I think I can pull up that picture of where I'm standing there, where the stump should have been at. So I think let me pull this up. Hang on a second. Because the floodwaters, when they hit Cosby, they didn't really get as bad as what they did in Newport. Let's see. Yeah, I can pull it up right here. It is. Okay. So let me pull right. Well, my camera's kind of, but right in here was where the stump was at, but it was like 4 or 5 foot over from where it should have been at. So, and it much less, it's just laying straight in a way that it shouldn't have fallen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and it's like so up in the trees and kind of twisted together and tied up there. You're saying,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very much.
Okay. All right, Jim, you can grab the narrative. Keep taking us on his left turns, and we'll get there, buddy. Please continue.
Yeah, so where we left off at was with the cage, right? And the funny thing about the cage, that I want to put out there is that not only was it 30 feet away from us, it was also maybe 15 feet away from Harley while he peed.
Yeah.
So how we didn't see it to begin with is a mystery.
Yeah, that's beyond me. I don't know. I guess I wasn't being very observant.
You were too busy worrying about those long socks.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Didn't see that coming.
Long socks, man.
Got him.
Shoot, man. Them long socks.
If you ever see me on my old comedy channel, you see that I've been doing this for a while, guys. It just kind of took two interest in putting them together. Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. I'm sorry, great. Jim. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah. So, all right. We're walking out there to look at the cage, right? After we finally figured it out, and things tamed down significantly, right, for us. Mm-hmm. And as we're going, we see one in the distance that is crossing the creek, and we can see it with the naked eye pretty well.
Wow.
As we're like trying to zoom in on it, like Harley
phone just fuzzed up.
It went straight to pixelation, right? Like,
wow,
like crazy pixelation. My phone was able to reach out there to get it, kinda like, but my phone's problem was that like it's focusing more on the foliage that's in front of it versus it, and on the documentary you'll see more of a silhouette versus like what we actually see,
right?
But and I do have that as a still for you to like actually see on the new edit. What's interesting though is like if I back up just a little bit, like with that picture and where we're having activity at, like as we're sitting down, I find it very interesting that we had so much in the way of just the oddest pareidolia happening with the events that it really like messes with my head a little bit. Like, like okay, for instance, on the one that I'm talking about, like when you see his silhouette there, you see in the greenery, like clear as day, like a giant green face and kind of necky, shouldery that looks Sasquatch as all get out, but it's entirely made out of leaves, and it's obvious that it's made out of leaves. But yet the detail in it is just crazy. Like
I'm gonna pull one up that kind of looks like what Jim's talking about. Hang on just a second here. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about that is like, so you're maybe your suggestion, Jim, is that like not only are they there, but they're somehow able to interfere either with nature or the way you're perceiving nature at the same time.
That's actually a good representation. Yeah.
To kind of wow.
Look, you could see his eyes, his nose, and I mean, just crazy.
Right.
Right. But it's nothing.
No, that's something. This is.
Oh.
This is
okay.
But
we're talking about.
Give you a reference of what Jim's kind of talking about with the green foliage.
Yeah. Like
okay.
There's people that are like, you know what? Well, I mean, most of the time people are like pareidolia is nothing, right? But then there's other folks out there that are like, no, this is actually like a manifestation that these entities are more like inflicting on the environment around them, and granted, I don't know if there's anything to that, but I find
there is.
I think there is too, and I find it so very interesting.
Yeah, it's like they're kind of hijacking I think it's called like the something. It's like there's a region of the brain in which it's able to recognize faces and remember a person You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think we can go up to like 100, and then everything above that is like, I kind of remember that person. But so at the same time this is happening, you know, you're actually seeing something coming through the creek there, and you're like, there it is. At the same time, you're seeing tons of other things that you didn't notice before that.
It's so interesting, you know.
It's almost like your third eye opens whenever you get home.
Yes, the eye of Jupiter. Yes, there you are. Now there it is. There you go. I knew you were good at this, Harley. I knew it. I don't care what Jim says.
So I'm looking at the doc right now. I want to see if I can find like what I'm actually talking about, because it really is just so interesting. But while I'm looking for that, I'll say that you know, once things chilled out, we did go and investigate where old dude there crossed the creek, and we found a half footprint within the creek. So that was really interesting.
And more quartz.
And a truck ton of quartz. A absolute truck ton. Let's see here. Should be.
Whoa. This is incredible. So Northwest Native Tracker writes, I know of a bush that is woven into a spiral in 3 separate layers that make it look like a galaxy. It's a sculpture, even seen wreaths woven into branches. Wow, if you could send me any of those pictures, like over my email, I would love that. It's the Eye of Jupiter podcast at gmail.com. If you have something like that, I'd love to see that. That's incredible.
I have not seen the wreaths woven in the blankets, but I have found this. Hang on just one second.
Okay, we got Jim's up here first. What's that, Jim?
All right, so the silhouette of the Bigfoot, I think I have 2 frames in this image, like when we actually watch the video. He's hanging out right about here. But this right here is the interesting pareidolia that I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Look at the shape right here.
It's perfect.
It is. I mean, there's eyebrow ridge, nose ridge,
there's
like
a
lips.
conical head even.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Bigfoot is right here at this, like behind this tree.
Wow.
But yet this pareidolia right here, I mean, it's just clear as day. I wish I could zoom in better and show you guys.
No, it's plenty good enough. It's plenty good enough.
I can see it plain as day. I see an eye, I see a nose, I see a brow ridge,
exactly.
I see a conical head. Like
you can even see like what the shadows would be in the trees with the cheekbones and everything.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
So, to me, to me, I just don't think that's pareidolia. To me,
I don't think it is either.
Maybe like mind manipulation.
That's part of the woo.
Like it's reflecting itself in all things around you in different like ways. Right. Either as like
their hair.
Okay, please explain.
So they don't have a medulla in their hair, and the medulla is a thin layer of tissue that's inside of our hairs. Much less their hairs are going to be. There'll be some spots of it that's translucent. Some spots of it will be a different color, like red or black. And me and Jim actually found hair that was, you could look at it from one angle, it was red, and you could look at it from another angle and it was black.
Right.
So like those cars with the paint where you can see 2 different colors in it.
Yes, the wraps. Yeah.
Oh, it's a wrap. Okay.
Yeah, they make a wrap for it, but kind of what that one person commented there. I always find stuff like this, but this is an X that's been tied in, and right here in the middle, right here, it's tied together, but it's an X. I actually just found that last Thursday. I don't know where the other branch is. Right here, it's kind of a smaller branch.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah,
but it's tied together in the middle,
and you can see that some of the leaves are actually upside down. You know what I mean? As if someone, it's not natural. Like someone took it or something took it and moved it and put it in that position. You can see it, even though they're still green. I can see, even as an untrained person and looking for Bigfoot, as a person who's hunted, former military, you can see that's not normal. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Guys are blowing up over on the chat today. I love it. Look at all these new members over here looking to see Harley and Jim. Go and subscribe to their channels, guy. Go and subscribe to their channels.
Peace. But so I mean, I don't need to keep giving away too much of the good stuff. I need you guys to come and watch Doc when it drops. But
we can start winding it down if you'd like. What?
Oh, we're only halfway through the story, bro. Oh
yeah.
Oh, it's my show now.
Yeah.
My show now.
Yeah. Woo.
Nope. Never mind. Spoke too soon.
Oh,
Hey.
oh, wait. Oh, and there it is. It's very sensitive back here. All my USBs. If I look at it wrong, sometimes it goes off now, so I'm gonna have to clean it. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Pam, for subscribing. Oh, you go, Native Tracker. Awesome. Reach out to me, dude. I'd like to have you on and talk to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there you go. Cool cat. She's been very nice, very supportive in the chat today. Thank you so much, buddy.
Very much so. Thank you. I would say, like after that, we go back in and check out the cage, right? And
a little longer.
Yeah. We do determine later on that it was built to be a hog cage for feral hogs. Mm-hmm. However, the biggest mystery to it, like of all, is like how did it get there? Exactly. Like this thing is just too big. It would be impossible to make out there in the field, being all steel construction. And granted, it's not humongous, but you would have a very hard time carrying it down that path. Like, I don't see how it's possible. Mm-mm. And there's definitely no way of getting any kind of vehicles through there.
There's not even any sign of vehicles even being in there.
Exactly. And, right. It was just so strange. And when we found it, it was standing straight up. Mm-hmm. And my theory about it is basically it's Bigfoot's refrigerator, because like in the middle of it, there's like a hole that's kind of cut out there, like where the trap mechanism is for it, or the trigger mechanism. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where Mama Bigfoot puts like wild turkeys in there for the little ones that are out there playing, because we saw plenty of signs of little ones. We saw their footprints, and we may or may not have seen their physical forms. I don't know. You'll just have to watch and see.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting feature. And one more thing that, I'd be remiss in not saying or mentioning is that the wire that is used to hold like the chain link to this thing, it was twisted so tightly. Mm-hmm. All the way out. Like to be able to hold this, you'd only put like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 bends on it, right? Mm-hmm. But these things were twisted over and over and over to the point where they were like this long, and then each end was like perfectly like rabbit eared down and then twisted back on. Mm-hmm. Every single piece of wire was like that. I mean, it is so much overkill to build the trap to do it like that.
Right.
And I don't know what to think about that, but it was really strange, and plus the full steel door that would actually come down and trap it, it's gone. It's nowhere, I don't see how a person could bring that there, but if you're like 8-9 feet tall, you carry that sucker like a boombox on your shoulder, no problem.
I can already picture that, the Bigfoot carrying that in there like a boombox.
Yeah.
I don't know what you heard about me. So right up after this show, in approximately 15 and 9, so about a half hour, Magical Journeys podcast. Catch him. He's going to be on with the wonderful R. Scott Nelson talking about the language of Bigfoot. That's right up after this show. So if you're still on YouTube, you're cooking dinner, you got your family there, whatever it is that you're doing, you're into this stuff, go check out Magical Journey right after this, guys. Here's the link.
Yep. All right, so let's install the turbo and finish up the story, Harley.
Sorry about the 50 cent.
We're going to get the turbo going in here. All right, so we went and grabbed lunch, and we get to the point of where, well, actually, I'm going to throw this in here right quick. I showed Jim this massive tree structure, and the funny thing about this tree structure was that there was an EMF spike right in the center of this thing. Let's see.
Yes.
There's a massive EMF spike right in the middle of this big tree structure.
And I believe that's the one where it spiked the highest in the high 80s, was it not?
You gotta get somebody out of here.
Okay. 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 Let's see. Hold on. All right. Is it? Okay, I'll write it in the chat. Okay, hold on 1 second. I don't know who it is exactly. Right in the private chat.
I'm sending it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how to do it.
There you got it.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Private chat. Okay. I'm looking on it and see if this is my first time I got to do it, so give me a second. Yeah. How do you do that? There.
So while that's going on, I'll go ahead and keep this up.
Yeah.
And so after we went and ate,
No problem, buddy.
we drive into the second location. Good job.
Good
job. Once we get to the second location, you know, that's where I say things change. Like the vibe is completely different. You know, the scenery is more beautiful, but it's so dark and foreboding that it's a completely different feeling.
Okay.
You know, and there's still just as much sign out there, just as much tree structures, just as much footprints going on. And this is where we actually start to see the three-toed footprints happen. And we essentially decide to go up and sit on a mountain, or, you know, like on a big old hill, and overlook as we're both back to back and see if we can't recreate what happened for us at the first place, right? And from there, things went and got crazy again.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
go ahead, Harley. You gonna pick it up, Harley, or you guys gonna keep that a secret?
Yeah.
All right.
You
got to pick up with Jim sitting down here, dude.
Yeah,
Hey, welcome, Tim, from Ohio Bigfoot Researchers. Bigfoot Researchers. Hi, Tim.
So we found that big stack of rocks, and come to find out from archaeologists, it's an 18th century ice box, which that was pretty cool to find.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Much less. So we crossed the creek, and we seen some coyote tracks and some raccoon tracks in the creek. So we get up on this little bit. There's a ridge that we sit on. We split up. We sit a little bit further away from each other this time. He's overlooking one side, and I'm overlooking the other. And lo and behold, I had to go again. And so I sit back down, and almost instantly stuff started happening.
Don't worry about that. Just keep moving.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, stuff just starts happening to my left, and I catch a movement with something that's reddish brown moving, and it's down on all fours, and it's coming closer to us, but it's still staying. So we were here. There's a little valley that comes down, and then it comes back up on the other side. Well, all of a sudden, you know, Jim says, I asked Jim if he seen anything. Well, I see a rabbit. So,
I'm getting bored, so I'm like,
he was hungry. Jim was hungry.
Yeah, check that out.
Sitting there watching the rabbit. And so I'm still sitting here trying to keep an eye on this thing. And then that's when the knocking started. You can barely hear it in the film. I picked it out. You can somewhat hear it in there. But so this thing eventually just moves off, and I'm like, it moved, Jim. It moved. And then Jim gets to the point of like, well, I see one. We don't know I think it's the same one ultimately, but when I seen it, it was down all fours, but Jim seen it a little further back. So I think it went right and cut back and swerved around to get to where it could see Jim. Mm-hmm. And so that's when we go down, after everything had settled down, we go down into that area, and we find the dogman tracks, and two different ones. So one is an adult. Its foot was as big as my foot, and then the other one was like half of its size. So we get back over in there where Jim had seen it at, and we're sitting there looking where I had seen it at, and there was some impressions right there where it was at. So we get further back in there, and then that's when the roar happened.
Right. And you know, it's interesting is, while all that's going on, like we're going out there to investigate, and you know, things start happening to us. Like, yeah, we're seeing the footprints, and we're hearing the roar that happened, which, I mean, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, that thing was a T-Rex, because it sounded kind of far away, but yet it was so powerful. And I don't know how to explain that, you know, but the interesting thing is, like, we're both at this point kind of getting hit with, we're getting zapped basically. Like, Harley's getting nauseous. I got nauseous, but not too bad. He's over there throwing up. I'm cracking jokes at him to make him laugh and spew all over himself.
Yeah, someone actually wrote that. Someone wrote that you actually get, you know, a little bit like of an upset stomach because of it. And there's your. I was farther back in the chat, but there's your answer. I thought he was throwing up because you ate some bad bacon and eggs.
No,
but okay, fair.
No, I couldn't get him to eat breakfast. I tried, but
no, I don't really eat much whenever I'm out there. I just, that way I can focus on what I'm doing.
Right.
That way I don't.
That's
really
incredible.
Actions.
Now you sound like something
Jim
I
will
would
tell
say.
you, I only drank 1 bottle of water.
Well, you need to drink more water, but
see, I told you.
Little electrolytes or something, for Christ's sakes. But like but like, you know, that was the same thing for me. When I do stand up, I don't eat before, and when I do music, I definitely didn't eat before because of the style I do. I mean, I didn't have the power, and some reason, like the most would be like 4 hours before. That would be the most, you know what I mean, like the earliest time I would give it, so I can concentrate on the thing. So it makes sense to me. I like the idea. Or you're nervous, one of the two.
Right. And, you know, so all that's going on too, and we're getting through it. But, you know, as we're getting like as close as we can to see where the big one that I saw in my periphery was at, you know, one, we make the realization that this thing had to be massive for me to be able to see it above the laurels that it was at.
You know, I could reach up, you know, and I couldn't even reach my hand to the top of that bush. So I can reach at least 8 foot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being 6'5", yeah. So
right, and that also is probably like where the big 22-inch footprint that we find at some point came from, if I had to speculate. But the most interesting feature that we find out there after all that is we noticed a bunch of these trees that were out there that were like sprawled out on the side like this, like they're furred up, and I don't know what would cause that, but as we get down and look at it, we see that this thing is just covered up with hair.
Wow.
Yes, lots and lots of hair, pretty long, very coarse. You look at it one way, like Harley was saying earlier, it's black. You look at it another way, it's red. It's very strange.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's one of those guys. I'm going to just say it. If you guys want to be douchebags, do me a favor. Come down to Mexico here.
Somewhere else. We don't have time
just
for
come on.
bullshit.
Come on down and talk to me, and I'll straighten you right out.
Yeah, Jim will tell you there ain't nothing lies or hoax or here, buddy.
Don't worry about it, buddy.
Your ass on somewhere else. I ain't got time for your bullshit.
Yeah, it's done.
Right. So essentially, yeah. So that's what's going on there, and it's fascinating. And it's not the only time that we found hair, because after after we get out of there, Harley, you find some hair one more time, right?
Mm-hmm. It was in the footprint. It was in the cast.
The cast that we just showed earlier, there was one in the fat. And
I've got it in my journal in an envelope.
Oh, so you like actually take the evidence that you find as you write it, put it in the thing, and then stick it in the book. That's awesome, dude. You got to pass that down to your children. You know what I mean? Like, this is Daddy's Bigfoot book.
No, that's like all my pictures and stuff. I've got a photo album started, so.
Okay.
Got all my dates and stuff.
We got to slowly wrap this. We're gonna have to. Yeah, we're going to slowly wrap this up, guys, because we do. It's just Friday. I moved in with Magic, and we're kind of roomies in this time period. And I said I'll go on before you and pump it out. Tom really enjoyed the interview with that. Thank you very much, Ray. That was a great interview. We're going to be going live, I think, in 2 weeks. We're going to be going live with Kevin Keena from the Arizona Ford. That's going to be the stuff they're going. You guys got to meet up and at least talk to them, Harley. At least talk to them, because they're finding some interesting shit down there. Yeah, and don't worry about all those. I'll say it, the R word, tarded, but again, over on the side. They got, like I said, you got something you want to do, just come on down here to Mexico and we'll straighten it right out. I don't like people promote that.
They can bring it to me, but they're
I do.
They're keyboard warriors.
They got their keyboard warriors. They probably got pimples sitting in the basement. They had nothing to do with that over their time. But we're not going to focus on them, dude. We're going to focus on the right thing. So Harley, please, one more time, tell everyone where they can find you, where they can, follow you, because you're always out there in the field doing stuff. Amazing chats tonight, guys. And thanks to everybody coming on. So Harley, one more time, tell them where they can find you, buddy.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Bigfoot Reports and Data. It's a group. You can find me on YouTube, Bigfoot Reports and Data, right here underneath my name. All my social media platforms. It's pretty easy to find me. So look forward to hearing from you. You can shoot me a message on Messenger. Look forward to talking with you.
Awesome.
Nice.
So Jim, you have your rebranded show. Thank you, David. It was wonderful. I appreciate that you came. Jim, you rebranded your show. Please tell me and tell everybody out there. Here is Harley's Facebook group, guys, and the YouTube is the same name.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim. I'm over here running I'm running the show over here, dude.
You're doing great, buddy.
Thank you.
Doing great. So I'm Jim. You can find me at The Night's Watch on YouTube, formerly known as Fisher Spam's The Night's Watch, but I'm either way. You go check me out there. I do pretty much a lot of the same stuff. I interview people. I tell stories. I have a lot of my own experiences that I've experienced myself and have documented in as much detail as possible. That way you know exactly where I'm coming from and why I say the things I say. So you can find me there and check it out. You can find me on the Rumbles, kind of on the Spotifys. We're in a love-hate relationship. Facebooks. Let's see here. Oh, Patreon. You can check me out on Patreon. I do a lot of extra content on there, like overtime shows with my guests like Harley. And I also have like a lot of just random musings that are very interesting and funny. So I highly recommend checking it out. It's only $1, make you holla. And I love all of you guys. And tookie.
Okay,
yeah,
so
thank you all. God bless you.
You guys are watching the show. Yeah, thank you very much, Harley, for jumping in tonight and sharing your experience together with Jim. I appreciate that so very much.
Yeah.
You would take time out of your day to come talk to me, buddy.
Brother.
If you guys enjoy the Eye of Jupiter, please do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Rumble. You can follow me on Stream, whatever. With all the streaming platforms, you get your MP3s. You can become a member. I got some. Here we go. I'll pop this up while you guys are here. Right over everyone's face. If you guys want some merch, down in the link below, some t-shirts, some hats, all that good stuff. Support the show, support your local businesses, and also support your researchers and future documentarians and authors. So, yeah, love you guys. Thank you all very much. And remember, we are the Eye. We are aware. Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye.